Well, welcome in, everybody. I apologize for the slight delay here on the show. Some technical difficulties, which are always fun. But I'm back with you now. Speaking of difficulties, some technical stuff for us, and maybe some lineup card issues for the Phillies. Man, that was fun to watch last night. We'll get into that. We'll tip our caps to the Milwaukee Bucks for taking care of business against the Brooklyn Nets and winning me a couple of bucks last night, thanks to our friends at DraftKings. And we'll also dip into those 76ers even a little bit more when we talk some fine sports today. Also today, we're going to get into some fun stuff with Mike Kaye of NJ.com. Friend of the show, as I like to say. Mike did a great piece. I mentioned it yesterday. Did a great piece on Devontae Smith, the new Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver. Really look forward to you guys hearing that conversation that Mike and I had yesterday. Covered all the bases when it came to everything revolving around Devontae Smith and what he's going to bring to the table for the Eagles, including the background here in Philadelphia. And basically what a lot of us need to know about Devontae Smith and what he's going to be bringing to the table here in Philly. We'll also cover some of the fun stuff that Mike does away from just covering the world of the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll get to all that and more coming up on the show. I'm basically running things today. All right, so that was the technical difficulty that we had. So I'm going to try to follow all your comments as the show is going on. Like, for instance, right now, check this out. Ready? Boom, Mally. You know him, you love him. We always feature him in our comment portion of the show. Brought to you by our friends at Steak in Maine. So that's what we can do for you today and have some fun with that and actually pop up your comments throughout the show. Oh, it's going to be bonkers today, folks. It's going to be bonkers. Let's start it off with the Phillies. Here's where I'm at right now with the Philadelphia Phillies. Andrew McCutchen, I was just saying, as I'm watching these games, my father-in-law is hanging out with us up here in Philly for the week, and we're watching these baseball games together, right? And he's a big baseball fan, loves baseball. And he's asking me about Andrew McCutchen because as he knows Andrew McCutchen, he's a Cleveland Indians fan, but follows all of baseball. He remembers Andrew McCutchen more so the Pittsburgh Pirates MVP and all that. We all know that Andrew McCutchen's not that guy anymore. And I was just saying the other night that Andrew McCutchen is not that everyday ball player anymore. He can be a guy to play 2, maybe 3 times a week. That's how I feel about Andrew McCutchen. And wouldn't you know it, the minute I say that to my father-in-law, bang, bang, 2 home runs right out of the gate for Andrew McCutchen. And not only do I say that, but it was also the other night that he led off with a home run where I also let those stupid words go out my mouth, and I just look like a big fat idiot to my father-in-law. So Andrew McCutchen, Uncle Larry yourself, thank you for making me look so damn dumb, as if my father-in-law didn't already know that. But I'd love to see it from Andrew McCutchen. So it's great to see him swinging the bat as well as he is. And we even let you hear from Joe Girardi yesterday talking about Andrew McCutchen and how he needed some time off. And now it seems as if he is finally getting that swing back in order. So once again, you love to see it. So you saw that from Kutch yesterday. Then you saw the gutsy of gutsiest performances from Aaron Nola. Certainly not a day where he consistently had his best stuff, but wouldn't you know it, when he reached into his bag of tricks, he'd pull out that pitch that he so desperately needed at that right time. No better example than the 6th inning when he went out there and just handled his business. He had threats on the base paths, and he just made the right pitches to see his way out of that jam. That Aaron Nola in the 6th inning is exactly what makes up an ace. And I find it so weird that we talk so much about whether or not Aaron Nola is an ace. And if you have to have that conversation consistently, then probably, you know what, he's not an ace. However, I believe that he is. And I just believe that there are people that are still very much stuck in their ways from when Aaron Nola was coming up through the Phillies organization, albeit so quickly as he was coming up through the Phillies organization, that people want to still stick with their guns, that he's always a third starter in a rotation at best. He's a 4th starter, right? He's one of those types of guys. I think once you finish, 3rd in the Cy Young voting a couple of years ago, and once you show the ability to go a month and a half, different points in your career of being able to shut down the opposition, where you don't even allow a run, you don't even allow more than 2 runs really in a long line of starts, as he has done in 2 separate occasions in his career. Yeah, I think Aaron Nola's an ace. And I think how he pitched his way out of the 6th inning, where he was at about 110 pitches and he found his way out of it, that's what an ace is supposed to do. So a lot of credit to Andrew McCutchen. A lot of credit to Roman Quinn. By the way, I jumped the gun on Roman Quinn yesterday. He's obviously not an Iron Man, but he went to bunt a pitch and ended up taking it off his fingers, drew blood. He stayed in the ball game, that Iron Man, Roman Quinn. And what did he do? He went up there and he got on base. Yeah, a little single, a little dying quail for Roman Quinn. You love to see that as well. And then, of course, he was taken out of the ball game because of that injury. And unfortunately, a man that has had a lot of injury experience so far in his, I don't want to say, it's certainly not a young professional baseball career, but it still feels like a very young Major League Baseball career, will most likely wind up on the IL yet again. So will we see Mickey Moniak? Whatever happens, we'll see it in the not-too-distant future here at the Major League level. But Odubel Herrera goes back into center field for the Phils last night. Now, the sixth inning isn't exactly the sixth. Now I'll see all my comments pop up here for my normal commenters. So we'll get that. We'll get to you guys at the normal time. But here's what I got for you. The sixth inning is where the wheels completely came off, and I want to make sure I follow the complete play-by-play perfectly to describe this for everybody. Joe Girardi attempted to explain this after the game, and my mind is still mush. All right, if you watched the Phillies last night, going in from the sixth to the seventh inning, Joe Girardi went to the bullpen. Aaron Nola, like I said, was like on 110 pitches, so he goes to the bullpen. He brings in the recently called up Enyel De Los Santos. He comes into the game. You see Craig Counsell come out, the manager of the Brewers. You see the home plate umpire come out. The umpiring staff get together. They're looking at their lineup cards, and they're like, huh? Well, wait a minute. Who's this De Los Santos guy? Yeah, I don't think he's supposed to be in the game. He's not on my lineup card. So Joe Girardi's got to fee-fi-fo-fum his way out to home plate, talk to the umpires, talk to Craig Counsell, and then he's got to take Enyel De Los Santos out of the game because he never appeared on the lineup card. So did Joe Girardi forget to put him on the lineup card? Like, I even tweeted out during the game last night, if that's the case, then here are your great moments in Philadelphia Phillies managing. Your great moment is, let's start off with this one here, in recent history. Ryan Sandberg calling a bullpen phone that was off the hook, leaving his pitcher in the game far too long. Utley comes out, Chase Utley comes out, starts yelling at Ryan Sandberg, and who was it? Was it Jim McClure? Or Bob McClure? Not Jim McClure. I'm thinking more along the lines of Troy McClure of Phil Hartman's Simpsons fame, if you will. But that was one instance, the phone off the hook in the bullpen. Hey, guys, can you answer the phone in Camden Yards? Yeah, it didn't happen. How about day 2 on the job for Gabe Kapler when he went to Holby Milner, who didn't even warm up yet he signaled for him to come in the game. Good hustle there, Gabe. And this moment, and I know people were tweeting me last night, how about the moment where Joe Girardi forgot that he already took the allotted amount of mound visits? Yeah, it's a good one too. But if Joe Girardi forgot to put a guy in the lineup card, that is bonkers. That is just crazy talk. That's like, anybody who's got MLB The Show can manage a better baseball game, right? But here's what I'll say, and I'll let you hear Joe Girardi explain it for himself. But here's what I believe happened. I believe Joe Girardi filled out his lineup card. I believe he put De Los Santos on the lineup card. And I believe when he submitted that to Major League Baseball and they put it through the process and they come up with their new lineup card, I believe for whatever reason, De Los Santos' name wasn't on there. And this even happened to the Brewers a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So this is something that apparently has happened in Major League Baseball. But here's the bottom line, all right? And I actually like Joe Girardi, all right? But this is coming from someone who, the hell with what I like, I got to be honest with you here. It's still, bottom line, Joe Girardi's fault. At the last minute, you still got to look over your lineup card and go, all right, who do I have officially? Who do I have officially official? Yeah, whatever. Like, who do I have and who do I know that I have? If I'm handing something to the umpire and that's the end-all, be-all, that's the law, that's the Bible, whatever you want to call it, I better know who I'm going to have in the game. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is Joe Girardi after the game trying to explain exactly what happened. And this was as it was put together on Phillies.com post-game.
Every day we submit the lineup, goes to Major League Baseball, the roster. We made a roster change. And I just didn't catch it. Ultimately it falls on me because I didn't catch it. But then they reproduce and send the cards to us, and then we print them out. And I didn't notice that De Los Santos wasn't on there. And I tell you, I look at all the time. I look at the cards and I count the people. Starting pitchers on there twice, and you make sure that you have 26 people. I missed it today.
Was there still 26 people on there? Maybe it was Sanchez on there instead?
Sanchez was still on, and we made the move, and that goes through, obviously Major League Baseball. But it's ultimately my fault, and I'm livid with myself. But, like our lineup card that we produce, De Los Santos was on there. We made Sanchez aware about 215, so I'm sure D'Lo knew about 215 as well.
Okay. And is there usually a process that, like a fail-safe, where you guys look at that card after it's spit back to you?
I look at it every day.
Is it just you, or are there other eyes that look at it too?
No, Topper looks at it too. We missed it, and it's happened. It's no excuse, but it's happened to other teams where the player doesn't get on the card for whatever reason. It's just stupid on my part.
I'll give all the credit in the world for Joe Girardi for owning it. I'm going to go ahead and say this is not an isolated Joe Girardi problem. It's not like this is something that's absolutely crazy in Major League Baseball. As he even mentioned, it's happened before. Todd Zalecki even put out a story last night of it happening to the Brewers, as a matter of fact. So it's not an isolated incident. I will say, bottom line is, it's Joe Girardi's fault as the manager of this ball club to know who the players that he has available for himself in a ball game. Seems pretty basic. But could Major League Baseball make this any more complicated? Like what? I remember Pete McCannon take his time. Beautiful calligraphy. He'd write out the lineup card and submit it at home plate, and that was the way it was done. For whatever reason, this seems like it's far too complicated. So if I'm a manager, I got to write my lineup card, submit it to Major League Baseball, and then they hand me one back that might not have the same auto update, whatever, that it's supposed to have, or lack thereof. Maybe it doesn't have the auto update. This is just a far too leave it to Major League Baseball. Is this a simple process? Let's see how we can totally bastardize it and make it terrible and more complicated. Yeah, great job. It's dumb. Bottom line, I'm not giving the manager any excuses. All I'm saying is this seems like it's typical dumb Major League Baseball. And yes, Joe Girardi, look, for all the people that look through the lineup card, it's the one thing, and it's a one time they probably took something for granted when they actually made a roster move, and they look at it and they go, oh, yeah, this is just the same one we did. Yeah, sure, here, hand that in. And they got caught with their pants down last night, unfortunately. Fortunately, it didn't end up burning them as bad as it could, because the Phillies still won the ball game. Things got interesting there in the seventh inning, as we know, and David Hale had to come in, and he unfortunately is not very good at baseball, so that doesn't really work out for the Phillies. And the Phillies ended up getting their second straight win, all right, but also they ended up getting their second straight one-run win, and the bullpen made it interesting as per usual, so that's exciting. Phillies got the win. That's 2 in a row, so that's nice to see. And as I always like to say as a manager in Major League, win one more, that's a winning streak. So hopefully the Phillies are able to put together a fine winning streak. Also, always good to have a win when Bryce Harper is not in the lineup. He's still day-to-day. Rhys Hoskins was obviously playing last night. He was back at first base. I believe, later in the game, I think he was taken out, and you had Andrew Knapp at first base for a brief period. So that was unnerving. We'll call it that. Unnerving. Oh, and how could I leave out Brad Miller? Bamboo Brad swinging a big bat yet again. Check out the big bat on Brad, making things happen for the Phils. Great to see that. So that's fun. I saw this stat last night. And I did not enjoy. No. I did not enjoy seeing the stat last night. I was catching a little SVP, a little Scott Van Pelt, and the National League East, the division that I agree with, but also have regurgitated from people that are the far greater baseball experts than me. We had Ben Verlander on with us last week. How crazy is this? The NL East has the worst record in all of baseball. If you add up the wins and the losses, the NL East, toughest the division of baseball, worst division of baseball right now in terms of combined record. So that's good times. Good times. Anyway, Phillies got the win yesterday. And it all boils down to that. I even like Jim Salisbury saying during the press conference yesterday with Joe Girardi, hey, you know what? All's well that ends well. You got the win. How exciting is that? That's great. And the Phillies move on from here, and hopefully it's in a much better direction than where they were before. Phillies get the win. Let's tip our caps for a second, shall we? Let's tip our caps for a second. Before we get into some Eagles draft conversation with Mike Kaye of NJ.com coming up in just a second, let's get into this here. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are a big old bag of frauds. Sure, they've taken it to the Sixers this year, no doubt. And sure, they just took it to the Nets back-to-back games. No doubt about that either. But I still think they're a big old bag of frauds. And however, I don't care. Because the Sixers aren't going to face them in the playoffs. The Bucks are going to choke in the playoffs, as per usual, when Giannis gets exposed. And unlike the 76ers, the Bucks don't have as many players to rely on like they do here in Philadelphia, where instead of relying on Ben Simmons, who oftentimes, as we have seen, disappears in the playoffs, you can rely on a guy like Joel Embiid. You can rely on a guy like Tobias Harris. You can rely on your three-point shooting, whether it comes to Seth Curry or comes to Danny Green. You can rely on defense with Matisse Thybulle. There's a lot you can rely on. George Hill in the lineup now for the Sixers. So that's great. I believe the Bucks are going to choke again. However, thank you once again, Milwaukee Bucks, for beating the Nets last night. That was a lot of fun to watch. And here's what I really found enjoyable. Sixers, by the way, for the record, a game and a half up now in the Eastern Conference over the Brooklyn Nets. So that's a good time. But here's what I'll say. I was watching that game last night, and Giannis Antetokounmpo goes up with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, and I believe the Bucks were up 8 at this point. He brings the ball up the floor, awkwardly as he does, jacks a three with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, up 8 points on the Nets, bricks it. About 2 possessions later, Kevin Durant gets a wide open 3-point opportunity, and somehow, I don't know how, I don't know, somehow shot an uglier looking three than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kevin Durant shot an uglier three than Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know how many times I'm going to get to say that sentence and have it be true in my life, so I'm just going to bask in this moment right now. That was fun. That was glorious. Sixers back in action against the Rockets tonight. One of the worst teams, if not the worst team record-wise in the NBA. So I'm interested to see where DraftKings has them at tonight. Also interested to see if anybody gets a little bit of a break tonight. Hopefully not. It was a night off already. We'll see if Doc Rivers gives anybody else a more of a break. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that throughout the day, and we'll be talking about it on Twitter and all other social media platforms, by the way. So we'll be sure to get into all that. All right. Without further ado, I really enjoyed this conversation with Mike Kaye. Mike Kaye wrote a story on Devontae Smith that went viral. All right. A lot of news outlets were picking it up. A lot of people were discussing it. A lot of people were talking about it. And I think it's one of the best background stories you can get of Devontae Smith. And also, Mike Kaye talked a lot about Howie Roseman, talked a lot about their draft strategy, about their draft board, and even talked a little bit about his own time, Mike Kaye, that is, in scouting, as a matter of fact. So we really get it from every possible angle here on the Zatos Investments guest line, as we're joined by our friend Mike Kaye, and we'll let you hear from just 1 second. But right now, I do want to tell you about our friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Here at the Steven Singer Studios, we always like to send everybody to Steven Singer Jewelers. And Mother's Day is this Sunday, people. Steven's got your back with famous 24-karat gold dip roses. This is the #1 gift for Mother's Day. Don't buy flowers that end up in the trash in a week. Buy something that will last forever. A real rose dipped and trimmed in 24-karat gold. Like I said, last a lifetime. Steven has always been in the love business, and this year he is helping us all discover just how important love really is. So Steven is continuing to send love by using a portion of each rose's proceeds to support local restaurants by buying food from them to cater meals for our incredible nurses, doctors, first responders, hospital heroes. So make sure you take advantage of this. Don't be fooled by the copycats. Go now to IHateStevenSinger.com. Check out the original 24-karat gold dip rose with his famous lifetime guarantee. They come in an exclusive color, obviously, that Steven Singer loves to provide for you, starting at just $59. It's your last chance for free shipping to arrive in time for Mother's Day. So don't wait. Don't hold out another second. Make sure you go to IHateStevenSinger.com. You're almost out of time for free shipping. Steven Singer's famous gold dip roses all come with a lifetime guarantee, free personalized gift message, and fast and free shipping. So go now to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. And right now, joining us, we're going to go and check in on our Zatos Investments guest line with our good friend Mike Kaye of NJ.com. Joining us now on the Zatos Investments guest line from NJ.com, NJ Advanced Media, a friend of the show, Mike Kaye joins us. How are you there, Michael?
Well, I'm well. You almost had it. You almost had it there.
What?
Michael. Who's Michael? My grandma.
I remember you're too chill. You're too chill for Michael, so call you Mike.
Michael, but you know what? You nailed the important part. You got the NJ.com. You got the NJ Advanced Media. You didn't call me NewJersey.com, whatever the heck that is. That's how I know when I'm on a real show. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you know you're watching. You're watching the realness.
Damn right.
You know, the next time that my story drops, I'll make sure to put it on NJ.com. Sorry, I got my iced coffee this morning. I'm ready to go.
I'll tell you this. I just got a new espresso machine, so I'm pretty wired. I'm just pretty wired myself, brother. Yeah, things are about to get real on this show. I'll tell you that much.
That must be why the hairs on your mustache are like about to go like this, huh?
Exactly. Things are about to get so real. I'm going to show this picture one more time from the last time you joined us.
Brutal. I knew I shouldn't have gone there. I shouldn't have gone there. I knew I shouldn't have thrown you a barb. Okay. All right. It's okay.
Quarantine K.
I surprisingly almost got a Head and Shoulders deal off of that, but then they went with Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
You know, so what are you going to do?
Hey, look, I know how you feel. Now, you wrote this great piece, and now the real thing I wanted to be able to promote here. It's a great piece. People can check it out on NJ.com right now. And you wrote a feature piece involving Devontae Smith. You talked to his trainer. You had some great quotes in there from Devontae himself. It really is a great piece that takes you behind the scenes. But the name that comes out of it, Slim Reaper. You go into this interview. You talk to his trainer. You talk to a guy that, by the way, also worked with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Devontae Smith. And he said that Devontae Smith really stuck out because it was hard to find a flaw in his game. Mike, you did the deep dive here. So what did you get from these interviews that you did and the article that you wrote?
This dude's the T-700. He is Terminator. He doesn't turn into puddles or anything like that. Nothing cool. He doesn't get like those choppy. But like I've done thousands of interviews in my career. You've done thousands of interviews in your career. And it's very easy for somebody to just be like, yeah, he's not like anybody else. But when somebody really describes what fuels them and what they do, like this is a guy who will go out and run routes and has a trainer who will constantly push him to do better. And he'll think that there's like a flawless route. And Devontae will just be like, I screwed up here. I'm going to retry it. He's a guy who caught the game-winning touchdown pass as a true freshman in the national championship game, got really excited after the catch, but immediately after at the hotel, he didn't want to talk about it. He was beside himself because he missed a block in the first quarter. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, guys that really want it, and you talk to Nick Sirianni, and he wants guys that love football and they're really obsessed with football and obsessed with improving. That's what Devontae Smith is. He's just a different sort of cat. People will tell you that are close to him, he's extremely introverted. If he's in a room, you won't even notice him unless you call out for him. But when those lights turn on, he turns into the Slim Reaper or Van Terminator or Von Terminator, I guess. Von Terminator. I don't know. I'm trying new things, but because apparently some people are upset because Kevin Durant's also called the Slim Reaper or whatever. But they've been calling him this forever. This is a guy who has surrounded himself with a very small-knit group since he was in high school, really, even before that, middle school. His mentor is a barber who is really close to the family, who also mentors a lot of other players. But they have that, like, we're parents and we only have one kid, but like, when you're around your kid and their friends, like you have your one favorite friend or your spouse, your spouse's favorite friend or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you have that person that you connect with. That's what Devontae Smith is like with a lot of different people. He's just the different kind of cat. He's like the Richie Cunningham that came to town and you're like, bro, this dude's a different type of cat. He's destined for good things. And I think that's what Devontae Smith really is. He's a different sort of animal. Like his trainer, Robbie Green, who is a former Alabama safety, who, like you said, has worked with Justin Jefferson, worked with Jamar Chase and Smith at the same time. He was Mark Ingram's college roommate. He trained Derrick Henry to go to a Heisman. He's been surrounded by Heisman winners. It's unreal. But he still says Devontae Smith's unlike any other player he's ever trained or worked with. And I think that's really special.
Certainly. And as you brought up, Nick Sirianni, one of the number one things he's looking for in a player is, do you love ball, right? And do you have talent? And that's really what Devontae Smith obviously brings to the table here. Now, what I found really interesting is, or at least want to ask you about this, is when you did the deep dive and he mentioned guys like Jamar Chase and he mentioned guys like Justin Jefferson, was there anything else, any other nuggets that existed when it came to Devontae Smith's work ethic and his attention to detail as a wide receiver?
So, as I mentioned, Green is a former DB, and he'll cover Devontae Smith. You'll actually see a picture in the article. Making Devontae mad is not a good idea. That is something that he emphasized pretty significantly. When you look at his ability to run routes, he's very precise. He told me that Devontae can tell you what route he's going to run and still mess you up. Like, Green knows every single one of his moves, and he'll still be, put on a turnstile. I think when you have somebody who is a technician like him, and by the way, he had to become a technician. When he was growing up, he was this awkwardly built kid with long arms and big hands and big feet, but like a really short frame. And so when you talk about his slender frame, he's always had that, but he learned ways around it. And I think that's what kind of makes him special. A lot of people are discounting him because of his slender size. He's found a cheat code. He's learned how to become a complete wide receiver in a way that he's not impacted by that slender frame.
Well, one of the things that reminds me of something in the article is you talk about his basketball background. And in my mind, whenever we talk about receivers in football having a basketball background, we're talking about tight ends. We're talking about guys like Tony Gonzalez that learned how to use their bodies to box out and get rebounds. In this case, go up and get passes. And then my mind went to one of the things that Nick Sirianni went in on deep here, which was how he does use his positioning, how he does use his body, how physical he is for a guy that's, just maybe a tad over 6 foot, if that. Does he draw on that basketball background, do you think? Did you get that sense from people that you talk to where he tries to use that basketball background to get positioning as a wide receiver?
Absolutely. The best wide receiver I've ever covered in my career is Allen Robinson. And when you watch Allen Robinson at the line of scrimmage, it's almost like he's working a crossover every time he uses his feet. And that's kind of what Devontae Smith does. He's got really, really fast feet. And they're very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very
quick.
Every move he makes, every step he takes, it's disciplined. He's very disciplined. He's a disciplined route runner. His feet are disciplined.
Precise.
That's the word. He's precise. This is a guy who's a precision athlete. So what happens is this kid goes to this group. He starts off really small. He's weighing 150 pounds. He got to Alabama at like 150 pounds, probably like 5'11". He goes through a growth spurt. His speed increases. Oh, and by the way, he's an expert technician, which he started running. I don't want to give too much away, but he started running routes at age 13. Like this, he's not built like other people. He's a professional, and his high school coach was absolutely blown away by his professionalism when he started in high school.
It really is wild to go through all the stories that you have highlighted in your piece on NJ.com. People can check it out. Once again, I'll give the title here. Devontae Smith tries to tune out some of the small talk and how he only uses that as motivation. So people can check that out, obviously, on NJ.com. I don't know. How do you take it? I'm always more drawn to people that when they have criticism, they always go, whatever, what's that person know? But he takes it and kind of puts it in the thought bank. He kind of takes it and he uses that as motivation. And I know that's one of the things his trainer did talk about with you is how he'll use that for fuel for the fire.
Think of him as like an old takes exposed in human form. Like, right? Like
I love that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a guy who can play against the most elite talent and still come up on top. The dude put up 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns in the SEC. Like, that's wild. I mean, I know he wasn't going up against Patrick Surtain. That was his teammate. But everybody else who was a top corner, he just ate their lunch. And I wrote down when I mean, you know this, but before I was a beat writer, I was a draft analyst, and I did some scouting, obviously, this offseason and broke stuff down. And in my notes, I have written Devontae Smith doesn't give an F if you're bigger than him. And I think like that's something that you can appreciate as a play caller, as a coach. He's just going to work you. Like he knows he can take your lunch, and he's going to do it, and he's going to embarrass you in front of your girlfriend or your best pal, and not feel bad about it. That's why they call him the Slim Reaper. He's digging holes and taking souls when he's running routes. That's what he's doing.
All right, so let me ask on the negative side then, real quick.
Sure.
Why the third wide receiver taken in this draft? Why behind Jamar Chase? Why behind Jalen Waddle?
Well, I think for one, with Hurts with Chase, you've got him reuniting with Joe Burrow. I think they go offensive tackle if they're not going Jamar Chase. I don't think that was just about wide receiver. I think that was about person and fit. Jalen Waddle has a relationship with Tua. I know he got a little in trouble for saying he prefers Mac Jones, but I think they viewed that as a connection and something that worked, because it did. It worked when they were at the college level. Then again, you turn around and you say, why not Devontae Smith? Maybe they viewed, Devontae Parker more in his role. Maybe they wanted a dynamic slot. It's a fit thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are concerns about his size because he is an outlier. But something interesting that I thought Howie Roseman kind of mentioned about Landon Dickerson, who I'm sure we'll talk about later, personality matters, intangibles matter. That's why you bet on some of these guys. And I think the Eagles took an approach of, this guy's got the right mentality. And, they've gotten in trouble for drafting guys who weren't ready for Philly. This dude's got a Philly mentality. He's a guy who's a technician, which means he has a low floor if he's not, injured. Or sorry, he's got a high floor if he stays healthy. And he's a guy who's dominated at every level. Here's the thing, too. People don't talk about this, but every year at Alabama, he got better. Every year. He's only 22. I mean, most rookies are 21, 22. But you have a staff that's been around the wide receiver position probably as much as anybody in the league. You look at Nick Sirianni and his work with Keenan Allen, somebody who Devontae Smith loves studying. You look at Jason Michael, who's been a coordinator, who's been a position coach. You look at Kevin Patullo, who is the passing game coordinator, who's been a quarterback, who's been around the wide receiver position. Shane Steichen has been around the quarterback position. They know how to develop players. And I think when you have a guy who's ready-made as a technician and who only wants to improve even further, that's the type of guy you want in the building.
Mm-hmm. Speaking with Mike Kaye of NJ.com. So most people are on board with Devontae Smith. Most people love the pick right there for the Eagles in the first round. As for the rest of the draft, just your overall impression, how'd the Eagles do after the Devontae Smith pick?
I gave it a B on NJ.com. I think there's a lot to like about this class. Look, I didn't love Landon Dickerson move. I think it's a huge risk. The guy has had 2 ACL surgeries, 2 pretty bad ankle injuries. But when you watch him on film and you talk to people around the league, they're blown away by this kid's talent. I spoke to 3 talent evaluators immediately after the draft. Somebody texted me they thought he'd be a top 20 guy if he wasn't injured. A couple of other longtime evaluators who are in the league, by the way, said that he would have gone much earlier had he not been injured, and he could be an immediate starter and a Pro Bowl talent. So, look, the scouting community loved it. So who am I to argue that it didn't make sense? Granted, there were some talented players on the list. But what I will say to you is this. You talk about corner, which was unquestionably their biggest need. And I've said it a million times. They wanted Patrick Surtain. They wanted J.C. Horn. Those guys just came off early. Right. And they wanted to land one of the 4 guys that was pegged in that area, Jalen Waddle, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, or Devontae Smith. When Devontae Smith was the last guy on their board, they made the smart move and they traded up. That's sticking to your board. We always talk about sticking to your board. Boom. There it is. But eventually, the cornerback group was light. It was very top heavy in this draft. Everybody talks about how great of a class it was. There were 6 guys that were really, really good. The teams all kind of had a consensus on could be immediate starters. And then after that, it's kind of shooting your shot. But they wanted to get an immediate difference maker. Landon Dickerson, in my research, he's a character, man. This guy is a dude that is John Runyon on the field, as Howie Roseman said, and off the field, he could be a late night talk show host. Like, he could host a variety show. So they wanted a good person in their building. They wanted somebody who could be Philadelphia tough. They wanted to get a guy who could eventually replace either Brandon Brooks or Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce considers retirement almost every offseason. Brandon Brooks is coming off his third major surgery in 2 years. So it made sense. And so I get it. I gave it a C. You look at the Milton Williams thing that's getting a lot of buzz because of the Tom Donahoe,
lack of fist bump.
Yeah, lack of fist bump. Reluctant fist bump is what we'll say.
Yeah, there you go.
They landed him. Everybody I've talked to and everybody that I've done research on with him has said they made the right pick. They said that he's a really good player, and he's a guy who can kind of fill multiple roles. This is a defensive line group that has a lot of expensive guys and a lot of guys on short-term deals that they need reinforcements for, and that's exactly what Milton Williams will come in and do. I like the Zach McPherson pick. Daniel Jeremiah had him as his 85th ranked player on his big board, and he's an actual scout. So there you go.
Well, real quick, let me just stop you right there between those two picks, because here's my concern. Because obviously, yes, as you even pointed out, the cornerback position is the greatest need the Eagles still have right now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was between those two picks, and this has been my gripe for the last 2 days, between their third-round pick and their fourth-round pick, 6 cornerbacks went off the board. So I don't know if anyone would have said that they'd still be reaching for a corner in that spot if that many people were taken off the board, including the pick immediately after Williams.
So, yeah, I think that's fair, but it depends on what you want. Do you want a nickel corner? Because that's how most of those guys were. Most of them were nickel corners. Look, who's to say, right? I don't think anybody would have said they were reaching, but they did stick to their board. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's very convenient for us to say, like, wow, they really need a corner. But we also told them to stick to their board. So, like, what is it, right? Mm-hmm. It's something that we do as writers, as readers, as fans. We contradict ourselves, right? And here they were trying to stick to their board. They were trying to try something new because what they've been doing in the past has just not worked. Mm-hmm. And so I think that deserves a little bit of pat on the back. I don't think their draft particularly deserves a ton of praise. Their last 2 picks, they're going to change positions. I do like the Jacoby Evans pick. I like what they did in the 6th round. Taron Jackson is a small school guy with a lot of upside and a lot of production. Marlon T, who I'm going to call Mr. T here because I'm going to screw up his last name no matter what, the 6th round pick from USC. Dane Brugler from The Athletic had him as his 3rd ranked defensive tackle. Jeremiah had him as his 4th ranked defensive tackle. Both, I believe, are in their top 100. So, like, there are some notable names there. My favorite pick in this class is unquestionably Kenneth Gainwell. Unquestionably. Perfect fit for what Nick Sirianni wants to do. Nick Sirianni is a big believer in giving running back specific roles. I asked Nick Sirianni after the draft about a comparison to Naheem Hines, who he used to perfection as a 3rd down gadget back in Indy. He was extremely productive. And Sirianni really liked that comparison. That's what I think Gainwell is. I said that 2 months before the draft. So he's a guy that I thought made a lot of sense for them. I had him as a 3rd round pick. They got him in the 5th round. So I think they came out pretty good. We'll see what they do in undrafted free agency. I know there's reports out there about some of these guys, but realistically, I don't think this roster is completely inept when it comes to talent. I just think they got better for the long term. And that's really what this is about. It's not about these short-term fixes. It's about long-term fixes.
And really, and this is what I go back to, Mike, it comes down to Jalen Hurts. It comes down to, I think, how good Jalen Hurts can be and whether or not he can be a good enough quarterback to mask some of the mistakes that this team is going to make, because that's ultimately what good quarterbacks should do. They should be the deodorant to a lot of things on the team that stink. And if you have Devontae Smith right now, you have Dallas Goedert, you have Miles Sanders, and you have Jalen Reagor from last year. I don't know what you think the upside is there for him, but I think it's still a pretty decent upside. So he at least, I think, has weapons as long as the offensive line stays healthy, which is something you always have to say. I think this offense has at least some weapons surrounding Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you wanted to see this team give Jalen Hurts a chance, that's what they're doing. This was the biggest endorsement that Jalen Hurts could have gotten. They passed on Justin Fields, who I think is a more talented player and who will end up being a very good player. A more talented prospect. I think he's going to end up being a very good player if Chicago doesn't ruin him. But you look at Joe Flacco behind there. He's in the direct-to-DVD portion of his career. He's like Nick Cage doing those movies, or Bruce Willis.
He's a Disney sequel. He's a Disney sequel.
Well, no, but you go, you stop by the Red Box. If you stop by the Red Box and he's in this action movie, Forever Kill or something, like somewhere like one of those things. Like that's where Joe Flacco is right now, right? So, yeah. I think it's unquestionable, unless barring a massive surprise trade for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, if his legal situation works out, whatever. Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy, and I think they've done a good job of building around him. They got 2 Alabama guys in here who are really talented, really versatile. Devontae Smith can play all 3 wide receiver positions. Dickerson played all 5 positions in college. He's probably going to either play left guard, right guard, or center. I think they also built around the defense, too. They made the defense better. I think Milton Williams is going to be a really good immediate addition as the 3rd defensive tackle on defense. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to immediately contribute. Jacoby Stevens is really, really intriguing. I don't know about the other guys, but Jacoby Stevens is something else. He's going to be a guy that people like, especially from a personality standpoint.
Mike, you just give me that Nick Cage movie title one more time. What was that one?
Forever Kill or something
Forever
like that.
Kill.
It's one of those things like a time stamp and like a motive, right?
Kill him till he dies from it. Nick Cage.
Right. Once a killer. Like those movies that you see. Like,
yes, I know. I started watching one of those movies the other night. I couldn't sleep. I put it on. It was Nick Cage versus a albino tiger in the Amazon or something, and they had to transport him back to the United States. It was, yeah, and then everyone on the ship tries to kill him.
I mean, look, Val Kilmer's one of my favorite actors, but every now and then you'll see him in
The Snowman.
The life with the Snowman. That's a good point. Yeah. But like Life Without a Badge or something, like, you know what I mean? Like it'll be like some sort of cop drama. Like they're just, it was like a spec script for a sequel to like Lethal Weapon, but they've turned it into its own thing, right? Like it's like The Offense when like Matt Pryor and Nate Herbig and like all those other guys are starting on the offensive line.
Sure. Hey, let me ask you this: what action movie, straight to DVD action movie, does this guy star in? What's the name of this movie?
Oh man, No Time to Shave.
Coming in July.
That's why I like doing this show, because it's like chill, right? Like we can be ourselves. We can, I think that's part of my persona anyway. But like, like I walk in on my wife watching these like movies that are just like, I don't know, and it's like I'm trying.
Hallmark? What? Your wife watching that movie?
Like Hope Davis is the star, and then somebody you've seen from maybe like a sitcom from like 3 years ago is
right.
Is the number 2. You know what I mean? Like one of those things. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll give you a little nugget.
Yeah, go for it.
I would tell you that the wide receiver group is going to end up surprising people from a depth chart perspective and from a who's on it perspective. I think there are some recent draft picks and some guys that you're going to be like, maybe they don't make the cut. Maybe they don't make it through training camp. I think this new coaching staff is going to come in there and want guys that want to get better and want to improve. And there's going to be no time for like youth movement, like BS. I also think you're going to see some interesting moves at linebacker. I mean, we're getting clues. They draft Patrick Johnson, who's a defensive end, and say he's going to play linebacker. They draft Jacoby Stevens. They say he's going to play linebacker. That reads to me like you're going to run a little bit of a hybrid system there. So, we talk about Jannard Avery moving to linebacker. That Sam linebacker position is going to be real interesting if they move to like a kind of a 4-3 under sort of Gus Bradley sort of defense. Where that guy's on the line of scrimmage and doesn't have hook responsibilities, and he's just going. So I'm intrigued by this defense. I'm intrigued by what they did in the draft, and I do think they got significantly better at 4 positions if you count running back.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Mike Kaye from NJ.com, New Jersey, NJ Advanced Media, NJ Advanced Media, and also the No Huddle Show podcast. So make sure you check that out as well. And this summer, he's got a blockbuster coming out. Mike Kaye, No Time to Shave. So make sure you catch that.
I love it. Make sure you tune in. We were talking about VOD. We were trying to get on Netflix, but then I realized like all of the direct to Netflix movies are terrible.
Yeah.
They only just really do good TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever noticed that? Like, you're trying to watch around and there's a movie with Paul Rudd about the future and it makes no sense. And like, Stellan Skarsgård's son, Alexander Skarsgård's in it, but he's not very good, and there's techno music, and Mark Wahlberg's in a movie that doesn't even make sense, and then I hear you. I did like Old Guard. I liked Old Guard with the Charlize Theron lady. That was nice. That was a good movie. Was that a Netflix movie?
That was a Netflix movie. Yeah. It was good. I liked it.
I gotta check that out. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one that was like a ripoff of that movie with Mads Skillen, where he's like a retired, right? Like she's like I don't know.
They basically they're mortals, or excuse me, they're immortal. They live forever.
Okay, I'm thinking the wrong movie.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. No, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go see No Time to Shave, starring Mike Kaye.
No Time to Shave. One more time. Coming
this July. No Time to Shave.
Mike Kaye has left his old life behind, and he's trying to. I got nothing. I don't. I'm supposed to be a writer.
Former writer Mike Kaye has a problem. He has no time to shave. Anyway,
fun note. I actually almost went to school for screenwriting, so there's that. I was a film theory minor.
Oh, were you?
Watched a lot of 30s movies. Yes. Always wanted to write the screenplay for a Cary Grant biopic.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know
I wish I
that.
could talk like Cary Grant and do like a Cary Grant accent. Everybody has like a really good Jimmy Stewart, but like not a really good Cary Grant. Well, Gee golly,
How have we never talked about this? I don't want to brag, but I feel like I do the greatest Cary Grant by anyone sub 70 in history. Yes.
See, this is. I told you I was going to give you the good stuff. What do you got? They got to deliver.
Hello, darling. Do you have any pink champagne?
Well, I like that. Right,
fair to remember.
Are we going to get the wives together and watch Bringing Up Baby? Is that what's going to happen this weekend? Like, is that what we're doing?
Right after we get done watching No Time to Shave.
That's going to pop up on my Twitter nonstop. I know it is. My wife hates that picture. I sent that to her and told her I was going to bury it under something. But you're running with it.
I'm gonna make a movie poster with it. I'll Photoshop a movie poster.
If you do that, I will definitely publish it myself.
This summer. Mike Kaye, NJ.com, NJ Advanced Media, No Huddle Show podcast as well. Mike, always a pleasure, brother.
Thanks for having me in my weird coif, whatever this is going.
You look great. You look like $1 million. Mike Kaye joining us here. Mike Kaye joining us here on the Zatos Investments guest line. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
All right, can you tell we're friends, first up? Second, the Nicolas Cage movie that I was thinking of, very simple, Primal. That's the one, and thanks to Mike Kaye for joining us on the Zatos Investments guest line. Primal is the thing where he goes after that albino tiger, whatever it was, the thing in the jungle. And then he's got to transport back to his zoo, or I don't know what it is. And then there's a killer on the ship that they're transporting him on, because of course there is. And the killer is this big guy from Mystery Alaska, if you know that movie. Anyway, I don't want to ruin it for anyone that's dying to see it. But anyway, Mike Kaye, NJ.com, joining the show there on the Zatos Investments guest line. Before we get to our social media check-in, let me tell you about our friends at Philadelphia Sports Nation, a local Philadelphia sports site covering your favorite teams across blogs and social media as well. PHLSportsNation.com. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. So make sure you're checking out PHLSportsNation.com. How about this? Our friends at DraftKings going to tell you what I did on DraftKings. Won a couple of bucks last night. Tell you about that in a second. But how about this? The hits literally keep on coming with one boxing event after another. They grow in excitement and anticipation, and this weekend is no different with two of the sport's most respected fighters stepping into the ring Saturday night. There's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. For this weekend's fight, DraftKings is offering all new users a shot at turning $1 into $55. To celebrate this weekend's huge fight, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook offering new users the opportunity to get 55-1 odds on either main event fighter to win this weekend's fight. That's bet $1 to have a chance at $55. Plus, they got great odds on basketball, hockey, baseball, everything at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, safe, secure, reliable, meaning you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy to sign up. For a limited time, only new customers can use this great offer. $1 to win $55 on this weekend's main event. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook going all out for new users by offering them this chance for $55. Must be 21 or older, present in Pennsylvania. New customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And how about our friends at Zatos Investments, an up-and-coming luxury real estate development company in Philadelphia area. They design and develop top-of-the-line custom homes all around the city, ranging from small single-family rehabs to ground-up new construction townhomes and condo buildings. Zatos also works closely with their private investor base to provide them with substantial returns on their investment, ranging from 20 to 40%. Make some money, folks. These guys are crushing in the Philadelphia real estate game. To see some of their properties and also how you can learn to invest with Zatos, simply reach out to them at info@ZatosInvestments.com or check them out at ZatosInvestments.com. I love telling you about Steak and Maine. Treat yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You want a great meal? You go to Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine in a more upscale steakhouse or a casual bar and patio, you'll enjoy the highest quality prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. How fresh is the sushi? Tony Cavada, my man running the place, he might have just caught it that morning. The man loves fishing. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if he brought his own stuff back to the restaurant. They're open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. They also have an extensive wine list. So from the Cavada family to you, that's how they'll take care of you. The Cavada Cellars Wines. And a long list of wines to choose from. Steak and Maine in Northeast Maryland voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Check it out for yourself at steakandmaine.com. Let's get into our social media check-in, brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. So here's what's fun. I'm going to try to get to as many of these as possible because I actually can follow it outside of just YouTube today. So I'm going to try to get to everybody here. I let you see from Mally earlier. Boom. What's up there, Mally? Let's see if I can't expand this just a little bit more for people. Try to do that for everybody and see if I can do this. All on the fly, folks. The beauty of doing this live. That's how I roll. Let's try Mally one more time. Nope, still tiny. Miss Guzzi. All right. I like Vince's comment. It's just a bunch of exclamation points. What's up, Vince? Appreciate you. What's up, Farzy from Tommy? What's up there, Tom? Nice to see you. How about my man that I always mispronounce your name? My apologies. It's T-Bro. T-Bro. What's happening? Nice to see you again. Laugh out loud. Iron Man for my man Vince. I assume that's in reference to Roman Quinn. I almost regretted tweeting that because he did end up leaving the game and is most likely going on the IL. But I don't feel the need to defend the timeline. I don't think so. I think you guys know I have no malice. What else do we have here? Kevin's checking in. This team is nuts. I agree with you. That team is pretty bonkers. Team makes me want to vomit sometimes. Rob, I don't disagree. 7th inning, one of the vomit. Thinking that Joe Girardi just simply forgot to add a guy's name to the lineup card made me want to vomit. I will reiterate for people that missed the open of the show real quick. This is Joe Girardi's fault. The bottom line. And I like Joe Girardi. I'm not going to give any excuses to the guy. However, I will say, in the interest of full disclosure, I don't understand how this has happened in Major League Baseball a couple of different times, and Major League Baseball hasn't gone, maybe we should do something about this. It shouldn't be this complicated to hand in a lineup card. But bottom line, and I give Joe Girardi credit for at least acknowledging, yeah, it's my fault. I'm the manager. It falls on me, and good job. He needs to do a better job, blah, blah, blah. Good job for him acknowledging that. I still can't believe it happened. I compared it to phone off the hook, in Baltimore in the Ryan Sandberg era, and I compare it to Gabe Kapler bringing in Holby Milner when he didn't even have him warming up in the bullpen. So good times all around right there. Shake my head, Joe. That's Benny checking in. Appreciate you, Benny. What else do we have? Mally checking back in here. The Phillies will make you say, I don't want a shot. Let's just put a straw in the bottle. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I got to say, I wouldn't be opposed to Ryan Sandberg. Here we go. Yeah, no, you got it. You're fine, Vince. Appreciate you. Matt's checking in. Bonkers, Mark. First time here. Loving it. Welcome in, Matt. Nice to have you, brother. Yeah, I always like to throw in a nice bonkers every once in a while. What else? Okay. All right, here's for the paisans out there. Vince checking in. Italians got to stick together. Oh, I get it. Okay, and then he's also saying I'm Irish, but love it all the same. I think that's a reference to me and Joe Girardi. I think that's what that is, unless Vince is like half Italian, half Irish, which it means I would never fight you. If you're half Italian, half Irish, there's no chance I'd ever fight you. I just concede, and I would let you take my lunch money. That's basically how that would go. Matt's just enjoying the show. The smiley faces, I appreciate that. Aaron Nola, the ace of the staff, people can check that out on one of our show pages. Make sure you do that, most likely on Twitter. So I appreciate everyone that's participating in our comments and all that stuff. What else? Oh, full range today. Yeah, you're getting the full range. Craig wants to know when I sleep. I try not to. I find it to be a waste of time. Yeah, and I agree with First Down Frank on this is on Twitch. The Bucks ain't. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Full range. So I will say this. I am Mike's checking in. Mike Fuji, my man. You guys saw him in our little fan piece last week reacting to having the Devontae Smith as the first-round pick. Veteran defensive back, definitely would love to see that happen, and I think Mike also points out a veteran wide receiver will be good to have as well. So, Mike, I could not agree with you more. Need to make that happen. As far as yeah, Benny, I got you, bro. My man. Yeah, I'm hitting up all the Twitch people today. Tech Master. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wait a minute. What are you talking about there, Brett? Boomer Farzy thinks laugh my ass off is laugh out loud. No. When did I make any reference to that? LMAO, laugh my ass off, right? I got that. Boomer. I was raised by a boomer. Anyway, phone off the hook gate. Brett's checking in. That was always a good time. James, did you miss the Flyer segment? Yes, you did. It was yesterday when they won. And I even talked about Dave Scott talking about the team, not necessarily time to blow it up and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff going out there. Oh, James was just kidding. I got you. See, I still got you. I still got you talking Flyers. Going to bring that up in the Morning Rush segment in just a little bit. So I appreciate all you fine people chiming in there on our social media check-in, brought to you by the good people of Stake in Maine and stakeandmaine.com. Without further ado, now let's get to our Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and skymotorcars.com. I will say this. As we were going back and forth, yes, I do the Cary Grant impression. I am not over the age of 70, so I feel like I'm the youngest person to do that. In case you didn't hear it earlier, it is based on Affair to Remember, and it makes me think of a woman I used to work with named Maureen that would always ask me to do my my Cary Grant impression because she loved the movie Affair to Remember. Now, Affair to Remember is eons before my time. Like that was like what my grandfather would take my grandmother to see, right? If they went to the movies, that's how old the movie is. They've made other movies based on the premise, whatever. But there's a scene in the movie where they're on a cruise and Cary Grant wants to drink pink champagne. And he says to the bartender, "Excuse me, darling, do you have pink champagne?" And for whatever reason, that's just stuck in my head. And the whole Cary Grant cadence is just a beautiful thing. And yeah, everyone does have a Jimmy Stewart, and I think Mike Kaye tried to give us a little of that Jimmy Stewart earlier in the program. But yeah, you got great draft coverage. You got old-timey celebrity impersonations. It's a full show. We're running the full gambit. I liked his comparison, by the way, on Allen Robinson. That's an interesting one to talk about. Wide receivers that are trying to use I think I clicked that there by Brett. That are trying to use their basketball skills in the football world to try to get positioning to catch footballs, and that's great. If you didn't see this yet, Chris Mortensen, I believe it was yesterday, said that Tom Donahoe of now fist bump fame was flabbergasted, I believe was the word, flabbergasted by the fact that went so viral. And I guess, yeah, of course, you don't know the cameras in the room. You don't know when they're picking you up. You don't know when they're not. You don't know when you're going to be on tape, whatever. It's like everything else. You always have to assume you're on camera. Always have to assume that no matter whether you're in a front office or out on the street, always on camera is a good little tidbit of information. Speaking of boomers. Anyway, moving on. Did you see this one yet? I don't know if this is – I know it's gone viral, but here it is for people that haven't seen it. What are we doing with the gender reveals? Because you know what? I used to be anti-gender reveal. My wife and I, we didn't do a gender reveal for our beautiful daughter, Lil Toots, or Emanuela. We didn't do a gender reveal. But that's like all the rage now. So I'm all for him now because of moments like this. Look at this lovely couple trying to show the good people whether or not they're having a boy or a girl. It's strike one, strike two, strike three, strike four. Oh, caught it. No, hit him. Take your base. Take your base. Almost hit the dog. Come on, man. The hell's the matter with you? This is how the Phillies center fielders play, by the way. All of them combined. Tries tossing it to himself, still strikes out. You know what? If that's what you're giving us there with all that fine content, yeah, by all means, gender reveals all the way. Please and thank you. I do want to also mention this in our morning rush. If you're a modern-day athlete and you're not posting pictures of yourself working out, are you even working out? Jalen Hurts yesterday. Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, all taking to social media to post that they're working out together. Here's Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders just yucking up a little bit. By the way, I love the Jordan and Pippen shirt there, campaign shirt on Jalen Hurts. That's cool. And there's Dallas Goedert on the far left. All three of them working out. You love to see that. Also love to see this. Thank you to my friends at the Philadelphia Union. Huh? Look at that guy. Handsome guy, huh? They were nice enough to send me that. Congratulations on their tie yesterday, and keep on rolling in CONCACAF, however you pronounce that. But let's go Union, baby. Let's go Union all day long. Big bets segment. That was brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com for our morning rush. Big bet segment today brought to you by DraftKings. Make sure you're always betting with DraftKings Sportsbook, safe, secure, and reliable, meaning you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Last night, I threw a couple of bucks on the Bucks to beat the Nets by a 1.5, so a 2-point game. They certainly did that last night, so they took care of business both for the Sixers and for me. The Sixers right now in Houston going up against the Rockets are a 15-point favorite against the Houston Rockets, worst team in the NBA. I'm going to see what the Sixers are going to do rest-wise, injury-wise, game and a half up. I would assume that they just want to make sure that they get home court advantage no matter what. So maybe it's a minute restrictions. I don't know. But they're a 15-point advantage or favorite to win the game tonight. So we'll be following that as the day goes on. Wait, James, seriously? Burn that picture? All right, now you're just going to make me show it again. One more time, folks. Drink it in. Oh, yeah. We had some company over the house over the weekend. Guy said I look like Lionel Messi. Is that how you say his name? Lionel Messi? Anyway, I could be his fat, bald older brother, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, thanks to the Union for sending that. They also sent me a glass bottle of Coca-Cola. I don't drink a lot of soda, man. Woo! But when it's in a glass bottle, ooh, that just hits different. Am I right? Thanks for watching the show today. Thanks for following the show. Had a lot of fun going back and forth with all you fine people on the comments here. This is good. Nice to have access to all that and more. Thanks for watching the show. Oh, I got James one more time in here. Come on, man. I got my kids in the room. All right, that's the last time, I promise. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following the show. Jim Hyder produced the program. It's a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Talk some more football. Hopefully talk about another Sixers and Phillies win. How about that? Have a great rest of your day, everybody. My name is Marc Farzy. Make sure you click subscribe on YouTube and all our other platforms and follow the show and have some fun as well. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Talk to you guys again tomorrow.